2 weeks ago.
G'day Tiger fans, welcome to Raw Vision, round 23, right at the pointy end of the season now, and we're joined by Danny Daly. You had some great news. Your wife Tara, you've had another little baby, your second child. Do you want to give the Tiger fans the name?
Yeah, little Mason was born last Monday.
Beautiful.
So going
Big
well.
boy or not? Is he big?
7.5 pounds, so not that big.
It's not big?
It's not big.
Right.
No. We're actually, there's a story behind Mason. My
Yeah.
wife actually liked the name Jack.
Yeah.
And just before we went into surgery, because she had a Caesar, we were sure it was a girl, so we didn't really worry about it. And she goes, "What are we going to call if it's a boy?" I said, "Oh, what do you like?" And she goes, "Jack." I said, "No, not a chance in the world my son's going to be named Jack."
You couldn't walk in here and
I
say
couldn't walk
because
in.
he'd act, Rewalt would think it's named after him, would he?
Absolutely would.
Of course he would. Well, I've got a joke for you before we get into the footy.
Yeah.
I went to the doctor this morning and I said to the receptionist there, I said, "Look, I'm feeling a bit like a billiard ball." And she told me to get to the back of the queue.
Just as well you can play. Just as well you can play footy and can commentate.
That
mate,
wasn't
I'll tell you.
that wasn't my gag. But anyway, we'll get to the footy. Great win last week against Melbourne. What was the most pleasing thing in the wash-up from the match committee?
I think it was just the ability for the boys once Melbourne started getting momentum in the third quarter. I suppose in the past we probably had situations the same thing and sides just overrun us. We haven't been able to fight back from those. But
Yeah.
for our leadership group to stand up and the rest of the playing group to stand up and to come home with a strong last quarter, I think that was the most pleasing aspect out of the game for us. And to beat Melbourne, who we haven't had a great record against as such. And for whatever reasons, the media and supporters, I think there's this rivalry going between who's got the better list, Melbourne or Richmond.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a good result for us in that aspect as well, yeah.
Well, at three-quarter time, they did have all the momentum. What was the message at three-quarter time?
I think Dimmer, he got the group in and gave him a bit of a spray about some of our defensive stuff. But he just said for them to clear their heads and start again and get the game back on our terms. We probably a little bit relaxed in our defensive pressure in the third quarter and enabled Melbourne to get some good run through the corridor. And Jones had a fair bit of the footy, so it was just more about getting back to the structure and the roles of all the individuals. So, and I think our acting skipper, Kochi, from the first bounce in the last quarter, set the scene by winning first hard ball. And I think from there we just
Got rolling.
Yeah, got momentum going, and it was good. Yeah.
Some great tackles late in the game as well, which won us the game. It looked like the boys got a lot of self-belief back in the last few weeks. We know we lost it for a month or so there, but seemed to be a bit of belief back in the group, especially the last two games.
Yeah, there has been. I think, and I think Dimmer might have mentioned this in his press conference after the game, but throughout the period where we lost that 6 in a row, the boys' spirits were pretty good and the training was really good, and we've started re-emphasising about our offensive stuff and our tackling pressure as well. So, and the leadership group, need to take a big pat on the back insofar as how they've had the group going all the way through, and we just needed a bit of luck, to be honest, in a couple of the games, and we got that against Sydney, and from there it's been hopefully a bit of a roller coaster leading into the last couple of weeks as well, where we can hopefully get another couple of wins on the board.
You often get asked, where the improvements have come from the playing group this year, and Tony Greenberg's finally come up with a good stat, our researcher, Danny. We've had 5...
It's taken him 23 weeks.
It's taken him 23 weeks. He's a bit slow off the mark, old Greenus, but 5 goal kickers this year, over 20 goals now, and I think Trent Cotchin's, not far away from being the 6th. Yep. That must be very pleasing from the match committee, because at the start of the year, that was one of the big issues, Jack being relied upon too heavily.
Yeah, it was, and I think last year we just had Jack, and then the next one was Colo with 14.
14 for Colo.
And then Benny Nacy with 11, so those two players haven't actually played. Well, obviously Colo's gone to Carlton, Nacy's only played a couple, but it was a big emphasis to share the load around a bit, and we had 11 goal kickers on the weekend, and as you said, we've got 5 over 20, and Kochi needs 3, and even Millsy, he needs 6 in 2 games, so if we get one of those up, it gives us 6, which is right up there, I think, in the AFL.
No doubt.
In the top 3 or 4. So
there's only 3 teams with 5, and it's Collingwood, Geelong and Essendon, and now us, so pretty good achievement. You mentioned Brad Miller there only needing a few goals as well. He's out of our 12 games that he's played in, 6 have been wins. He just seems to give us a real structure when we go into the forward line. He's honest and hits up at the ball.
He does. He straightens us up a bit, and he's been our hit-up player, and he's also got the ability that if we need to get out down the line with a long kick, that he'll force a contest and bring it to ground for us. And he's done a couple of roles for me as well over the last couple of weeks. Just going to players at certain stages, and he just plays his role for us. And he's just been a real significant contribution to our forward line this year, and he's helped obviously Vickers and Jack and the rest of the forward line group in sticking to their structure.
Yeah. What about our opponent this week, the Crows? They've come good under Bix. They're playing pretty good footy. It's going to be a big challenge. What have we seen as being the improvement in them under Mark Bickley in the last month? They changed the way they're playing?
Yeah, they've changed a little bit, and Wayne Campbell, the oppo coach, has spent a bit of time watching them, and I think he's watched them the last 3 games, although his flight to the Gold Coast was cancelled last week. So he gave us a presentation during the week, which went for about 2 minutes. He said, clog the corridor and we'll win. So we're going to clog the corridor and we'll win.
So that's all we've got to do.
That's Cambo's brief for the week.
Walker. That's what he said. I'll go and talk to him about that. He's struggling a bit at the moment, Walker, in a number of areas. Okay, what about the changes to the squad? Have we got any at this stage? I know it's only early. We play Sunday, don't we? Or?
Yeah, early Sunday, I think. But just got the 3 inclusions for the extended bench at the minute. So Jimmy O'Reilly, Whitey and Nason are back into the squad, which is the same as last week. So winning side, you don't make too many changes. So I wouldn't have thought there'd be any change at all this week. Just go with the winning formula and hope it gets us over the line in Adelaide.
How did those 3 guys play for Coburg? Who would be at the top of the queue there?
Probably Jimmy O'Reilly. Had a pretty good game last week. He's come along in leaps and bounds, and he's probably at the top of the minute. Naso actually didn't play. He was the carryover for the game. And Whitey showed some good form as well, but I think if you were to put them in order, probably Jimmy O'Reilly at the top of the minute, then probably Whitey, and obviously Naso probably needs to go back and have another game at Coburg. We've got their last game this week against the Bendigo Bombers. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll better let you get off and visit the family, mate. Thanks for joining us. The forward line's working beautifully, and let's see all the Tiger fans who live in Adelaide get there for the 1:10 start, I think it is, over at AAMI Stadium. Not a great place out there, but all the Tiger fans should get out there and watch us win. Thank you.